Hey there, Sally Squad, and welcome to my channel. This is Sally's Kiddie Haven, where we turn your learn time into our fun time. Who's ready to learn? Well, if you're as ready as I am, get on board and let's get going. But don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like and share this video. Let's get started, shall we? Today, we'll be learning about sentence fragments. Now, kindly note that this lesson is particularly for students in Year 1. However, we can all learn a cue or two from this. So, let's get going. What will we be doing? We will learn, discover, and then we'll apply. What will we learn? We'll first learn what is a fragment, what is a sentence, and then we'll discover by knowing the difference between a sentence and fragment. Finally, we'll apply by stopping, and then we'll think and answer a few questions. Now, if you're excited, let's get into the video. What is a fragment? Well, fragments are a group of words that are not complete. They need other words to support them in order to become sentences. This means when they are alone as a group of words, fragments are not complete. They don't make any sense. Can we check out some examples of fragments? Let's see. Slammed the door. In the morning. Over the moon. Now, slammed the door does not make any sense, even though they are groups of words. If I walked up to you and I said, in the morning, you'd probably stare at me and say, what's wrong with her? Or if I just said, over the moon, well, who went over the moon? What jumped over the moon? We have no clue. So it's safe to say that these three groups of words are not sentences, but they're rather fragments. So, these group of words are not sentences because they don't make any sense on their own. They are not complete. So, what is a sentence then? Well, a sentence is a group of words that make sense. They express a complete thought. Okay, so whenever you have a group of words that simply make sense, then we can say that they're sentences. But don't get too comfortable. Let's see what really makes a sentence, okay? Let's check out some features of a sentence. Now, you should know that every good sentence must always begin with a capital letter. Do we know what capital letters are? Well, we should know. Well, sentences must also end with a punctuation mark such as full stops, question marks, and exclamation marks. Don't get scared, the word punctuation sounds humongous, but punctuation is simply an end mark, like a full stop, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. Thirdly, every sentence must make sense. So, whenever you write a sentence or you say something in a sentence, it must give meaning. It must make sense. Finally, a sentence can stand on its own. Are we catching some differences already? Okay, let's see. Now let's go to some examples of sentences. The little boy slammed the door. Notice slammed the door was the previous example given for fragments. However, when I added the little boy, it made it make sense. The little boy slammed the door makes more sense than just saying slammed the door. This is a sentence. In the morning, I went bike riding. Did the unicorn fly over the moon? Oh my, I like to see a unicorn fly over the moon. Well, in the morning was a fragment in the previous example. However, when we added I went bike riding, it made it make sense. And the same applies to did the unicorn fly over the moon? These are examples of sentence. Do you notice a trend? All these three sentences begin with a capital letter. They all make sense and they all end with a punctuation mark. Can we identify the punctuation marks? We have 2 full stops and 1 question mark. So, do not forget to always start your sentence with a capital letter and always end with a punctuation mark or an end mark. We figured out what sentences are and what fragments are. Can we try and tell the difference between both? Let's see the differences between a sentence and a fragment. Well, a sentence expresses a complete thought. It starts with a capital letter and ends with an end mark. Every sentence can stand alone. What about fragments? A fragment does not express a thought. It may start with a capital letter but should not be mistaken as a sentence. And please take note of this point. Sometimes you can have a group of words starting with a capital letter, but if they do not fit the criteria or the features we discussed, then make sure to notice they are not sentences. Finally, it cannot stand alone. Fragments will always need other words to be added to them in order to make sense and become a sentence. So, can you say that you understand the differences between sentences and fragments? Well, if you have understood to this point, then it's safe to say that we can answer some questions, isn't it? So, let's stop, think, and answer. I'm going to give you 4 groups of words, some sentences, some fragments. You are supposed to read the sentences or the fragments and then stop, think, and answer whether each group of words is a sentence or fragment. If the group of words is a sentence, give it a thumbs up or check it right. If it's not a sentence and it's a fragment, do well to give it a cross or an X. No cheating and no peeking, okay? I trust you are a good Sally squad. So, do well to pause this video at this point, answer them on your own, and meet me on the next slide so we can discover the answers together. Best of luck! Now, let's check. Can you give me a minute? Well, this is a question, isn't it? It does make some sense, so it's definitely a sentence. We give it a check or a thumbs up. It's indeed a sentence. That little girl. Does it make any sense? No. What little girl? What did she do? These group of words do not make any sense whatever, so we give it a check or cross. It's a fragment. Into the muddy pool. Into the muddy pool is not a sentence because it doesn't make any sense or express a complete thought. Into the muddy pool is a fragment, so we give it a check. We give it a cross, sorry. We give it a cross or we put an X. Finally, you look great. You look great is a sentence, so we give it a thumbs up or a big check. How many of these were you able to get right, guys? Were you able to get everything? If you were, I'm giving you big kisses from across the world. Good job, guys. Hey guys, all too soon we've come to the end of today's lesson. Now, I hope you enjoyed the lesson because I definitely did. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button and give me a giant thumbs up. Until next time, take care of yourself, don't forget to stay safe, and never forget that I love you so much. Toodles!